I live stream fortune telling online, and some people call me a scammer. If you're so good, follow the network connection and come beat me up. What a coincidence, I'm a ghost. I can actually follow the network connection to beat him up. I am the poorest ghost in the underworld in the past few hundred years. Because I'm so poor, I can't reincarnate. I've been in the underworld for 300 years, and it's been getting poorer and poorer. Now, even the roof of King of Hell's palace is leaking. Unable to bear it anymore, King of Hell waved his hand and kicked me to the human world. He told me to make enough money and come back to him to reincarnate. How much is enough? He handed me a small coin. I picked it up and shook it lightly. King of Hell said, "The money you earn will accumulate in this coin. When it weighs a pound, you can return and reincarnate." I'm a poor, miserable ghost with no special skills. I've heard that live stream fortune telling has become very popular in the human world, so I decided to try my luck with this profession. After all, I have a bit of an advantage. Customers come to me to see their fate, and I just need to run back to the underworld, open the register, and I'll know immediately. Compared to those fortune tellers who only know how to calculate by hand, I'm much better. With the help of everyone in the underworld, I managed to save up 2,000. First, I spent one to buy a phone, and I was left with exactly 500. Looking at the crumpled banknote, I gritted my teeth and decided to sleep under the overpass for the night. After all, the cost of housing in the mortal world is too high, and I can't afford the rent. Finding a suitable overpass, I sat cross-legged, opened the app, and prepared to start my first live stream. After a bit of fumbling, a pale face with hollow eyes appeared on the screen. But my chin was sharp, and my lips were bright, blood red, almost terrifying, like one of those ghosts that hanged themselves and had been dead for 3 days in the underworld. I jumped back a meter in shock, and only after a moment did I realize the face on the screen was my own. At that moment, a few viewers had entered the live stream room. The host got scared by her own looks. Ha ha ha, jumping back like that is hilarious. Where is this? It looks so shabby. As the comments scrolled by, I realized I had accidentally turned on the beauty filter to its maximum setting. Turning off the filter, the ghostly face actually looked a bit more pleasant. Wow, the host is really pretty, naturally beautiful, no editing needed. She's pretty, but I feel a bit creeped out. Is this live stream category about something scary? Is the host going to perform some kind of ritual? At that moment, the live stream room showed 17 viewers. I cleared my throat, quickly deciding to seize the first batch of potential customers. Live streaming fortune telling here. 1 reading? No, it's 100 yuan per reading. The first 3 readings are free. Anyone want to give it a try? How could you ask for donations like this and still scam people? Be careful, I'll report your live stream. Are you trying to scare people with that makeup? Is it really free? If it's free, then I'll give it a shot. It's a good chance to chat with a pretty girl. No loss. The guy above is a bit creepy, but he makes a point. Hee, I want to try too. 2 video call requests jumped up at the same time. I selected one person to connect with. A man's face filled the screen, taking up nearly half of it. He squinted his eyes, raising a string of antique pendants, showing them off to everyone in the live stream room. Let's check out the background of this pendant string and how much it's worth. If you guess right, I'll gift you this live stream session. If you guess wrong, the live stream will automatically end. I stared at the antique copper pendant string in his hand, immediately frowning. This is not right at all. As for its value, it's just a cheap piece of jewelry, but it's wrapped tightly in bloodshed. This used to belong to the deceased. As soon as the words left my mouth, the comments exploded. Even if you can't figure it out, there's no need to curse people like that. What does the host mean by this? Even if she's beautiful, she's too cruel, truly a snake-hearted person. Looking at the color, this must be something picked up from an antique market. Well, what the host is saying isn't wrong either, it is the property of the deceased. But after I said the next sentence, all the comments fell silent. The necklace you're holding in your hand belongs to the girl you murdered. You're a murderer, shamelessly holding the victim's belongings, flaunting them, indulging in your twisted mentality. The man's face on the screen suddenly turned pale. What nonsense are you talking about? This is slander. Be careful, I'll sue you. I'm reporting this live stream. After a few angry words, he immediately cut the connection. How did I know he had killed her? Because the girl was standing right behind him, staring at him intently. At that moment, the comments. What is the host babbling about? But why is he so scared? Why did he suddenly cut the connection? Could it be that I was right? Am I really the murderer? How could there be such a coincidence? People are just annoyed. Who wouldn't be if they were in that situation? If he really is the murderer, the host should call the police immediately. Reporting it might even get a reward. Don't you dare report it, huh? A scammer for rewards still has the nerve to take money. I immediately exited the livestream interface and dialed 11 to report to the police that there was a murderer in my broadcast, while also providing them with his ID. The police officer who answered the call spoke very gently, saying they would investigate quickly and notify me of the results later. Once that was done, I returned to the livestream. Is she just making things up? We didn't see her actually call the police. This is so ridiculous. Why didn't she use another phone to call and show it on the screen? What a scam! Scammers these days are so bad at acting, they don't even prepare props. I am not a scammer. And as for why I didn't use another phone to call? Because I only have one phone. I'm very poor. Look, I even have to live under this bridge. I seriously explained with my comment, while shaking the camera to show them the surrounding scene. I was intentionally drawing attention under the bridge. Don't make up such exaggerated stories. Nowadays, streamers will fabricate anything just for views. I'm just reporting. Once the police respond, I will update everyone during the live stream. You can follow me, and you'll see whether I'm telling the truth or not. As soon as I finished speaking, the live stream was suddenly cut off. The system sent a message: due to multiple reports, the platform suspects you of engaging in fraudulent and deceptive behavior. Your live stream has been locked. I wanted to cry, but no tears came. The road to making money truly is full of obstacles. Find a comfortable position. I lay down under the bridge, ending my first night in the human world. The next day, I received a call from the police. They said that thanks to the clue I provided, they were able to successfully solve a serious murder case, and the perpetrator has been arrested. They are now inviting me to the police station to receive my reward. I immediately jumped up, feeling that I was valuable again. At the police station, the officers followed the interrogation procedure and then handed me a reward of 1,000 yuan. In addition to the reward, I was also given a certificate of appreciation as a good citizen. The officers even pulled me aside to take a photo together, saying that it would be used for publicity. Excited, I hugged the certificate and reward and returned to my spot under the bridge. When I opened my phone, I found that my livestream channel had been unbanned. As soon as I started the live stream, the number of viewers skyrocketed, the numbers jumped continuously, making my head spin. In the end, it stabilized around 30,000 viewers and was still climbing. It's really hot, absolutely amazing. That person is indeed a murderer and has already been arrested. I saw it posted on the official Jiangcheng Police Department page. The host, standing in the center holding a certificate, looked so cute while gazing at Woo Woo. I'm from H City. I heard that being hot just means talking, and you can catch a murderer. Really? Let's go check out the excitement. The host is so pretty, her cold aura is exactly my type. Not only beautiful but also thoughtful. After yesterday's incident, the atmosphere in the live stream became much friendlier. Thank you, everyone, for your support. Today, it's still 100 yuan for a reading, you can ask anything. If I don't give you a proper answer, I won't charge. This time, a lot of people rushed to call into the channel. I randomly selected one, it was a guy with a scholarly vibe wearing square glasses. Hello, host, I'd like to know if I'll pass the graduate school exam. I opened my notes and carefully wrote down his question and account name. This reading can be done, but I won't be able to give him an answer until tomorrow. I'm not some fortune teller, I'd have to go back to the underworld and flip through his life and death records to find out. This is the first time I've heard of a fortune telling where the results won't be out until tomorrow. Turns out yesterday was just a fluke, still a scam after all. Planning to take the money and run, huh? What a bad scam. If the host runs off, you wouldn't even be able to find the place where she's hiding under a bridge. Ha ha. But seriously, 100 yuan for a reading? That's so cheap it's even more suspicious. Look at this, the screen is full of skeptical comments. I thought for a moment and then replied, hey, whether or not it works is up to you. It's a small business, both parties are consenting. If you're afraid of being scammed, you can wait until tomorrow when I give my answer, then pay. So, do you still want to continue? The guy hesitated for a while, but in the end, he decided to go ahead with it. Once someone started, and with the price of 100 yuan being so cheap, more and more people began to call in for a video chat to ask questions. I carefully wrote down each question. Except for a persistent guy who asked me to guess the color of his underwear, I quickly disconnected him. Now, I've got 50 questions in my notes. 100 yuan per reading, so 50 readings means 5,000 yuan. I did the math and immediately felt confident in my new path. Though it's still a long road ahead, at least I've taken the first step. I turned off the live stream, took the small coin in my hand, flipping it back and forth, studying it, but still couldn't figure out anything special about it. However, I vaguely sensed that it seemed to be a little heavier. Up until now, I had only earned 1,000 yuan, a poverty level that was enough to bankrupt even the underworld. This meager 1,000 yuan couldn't possibly have a significant impact on the weight of the coin. After thinking it over, I could only come to one conclusion. Doing good deeds in the mortal world, accumulating merit, would cause even my small coin to gain weight. It must be that the coin changed a little because I helped the police catch a criminal. With that, I now had another direction to work towards. I felt that tomorrow would be a brighter day. In the evening, I returned to the underworld, excitedly telling the King of Hell that I had figured out a way to make money and that reincarnation was no longer far off. The King of Hell just gave me a glance, dismissively declaring, "Finish flipping through the ledger of life and death, then hurry up and leave. Don't be so slow." All right, I knew it, I'm still not welcome at all. I sat down and began to check each issue recorded during the live stream, spending quite a bit of time researching. Although the Book of Life and Death records the karmic deeds of each person, most of the questions asked by the people observing are far too detailed, requiring the flipping through more complex karmic record books, making the search process extremely laborious. After being busy for quite some time, when I lifted my head, it was already late at night. I returned to the underside of the bridge, closed my eyes for a brief moment, and prepared for the broadcast the next day. The golden sun rose from the east, its dazzling light spread across the sky, and the early rays hit my arm, causing a painful, uncomfortable burn. This is bad. I almost forgot. After all, I am just a demon, and sunlight has never been friendly to me. 2 days ago, the sky had been overcast with clouds, and I hadn't felt anything. But today, it was a scorching sunny day, and this poor little demon like me was exposed to the sun, with nowhere to hide. I quickly moved the person into the shady spot, thinking to myself that sleeping under the bridge indefinitely couldn't be a long-term solution. The housing issue needed to be solved urgently. I opened the live stream and discovered a group of people already sitting and waiting. Finally, the broadcast is live. I've been waiting here for a while. Can the host set a fixed live stream schedule? It's exhausting waiting for a spontaneous stream like this. I'm here to watch the drama and see the scammer get exposed. I can't wait any longer. Stop mocking. I believe this female streamer really has some skills. I adjusted the camera angle, pointed it toward myself, gently brushed my hair, and then took out the notebook from yesterday to flip through. Are you the one with the nickname "must definitely pass the graduate school entrance exam"? The young man seemed to have been waiting for the live stream to start, immediately sending a video connection request. You could pass the graduate school exam, but don't set your goals too high. Choose your aspirations realistically. I saw your name in the karmic ledger last night. This is the turning point of your life. If you choose a school that fits your abilities, your future will be smooth. On the other hand, if you get overconfident and listen to your family's advice to choose a school that's beyond your reach, you will fail. You'll feel discouraged for a while, and your luck will take a downturn. Listen to me. You furrowed your brows in thought, then suddenly it clicked and you nodded. I understand now. Thank you. How should I pay for this reading? I'll send the payment code through the system. Right after that, a pleasant notification sound rang from the phone. You have received 100 yuan via Alipay. After the conversation ended, I continued connecting with those who had asked me questions the day before, one by one. Some believed my words, others did not. But with the price of 100 yuan per reading, even if it was just for fun, no one would dare to question it. I wasn't in a hurry. I let time prove itself. When they saw that I was accurate in my predictions, my reputation would naturally spread. At that point, even the doubters wouldn't be able to mock me anymore. Streamer, could you take another look at the question I asked yesterday? A viewer proactively called for a video chat. I accepted and saw a man with messy hair, sitting cross-legged in the middle of a pile of trash, with a toothpick in his mouth. I slightly furrowed my brows. Sir, could you please put on a shirt for the live stream? It's not very polite to be without one. Whether I wear a shirt or not is my business. I'm at home, I can do whatever I want. Just answer my question, let's see how much you're bluffing. Ah, another troublemaker. But I wasn't angry at all. I picked up my small notebook, flipping through the pages, maintaining a polite attitude towards customers. This is a quality that a good demon should have. Quickly, I found his question. This audience member, yesterday you asked me to calculate a fortune for you, wondering if he could become a professional player and win a championship. The answer is no, it's impossible. Not only that, but if he continues to waste his time, burying his face in games day and night, before long, he will drop dead in his dark rented room one night. When the body is discovered, it will likely stink to high heaven, but I won't say these things. After all, he only paid to ask one question. For a single coin, I won't get involved in someone else's karma. You're really a scammer. I'm telling you, I'm good at this game. I'm definitely going to become a pro player. He shouted loudly, then turned to the others. Everyone, look at this. She's just a fraud. Not bad looking though. I think you should stop being a fortune teller and sell your looks, you'll make a lot more money. His words were harsh and venomous, laced with anger from hitting a sore spot. I restrained my anger. It was hardly worth getting upset over someone who's about to meet an early death, someone who would likely reincarnate as an animal in the next life. But the comments on the screen were less patient than I was. How dare this fat bastard speak like that? Truly the type who opens his mouth only to spout filthy, rude nonsense. It's an eyesore. Still daring to attack me personally? Only want to hear sweet words, huh? Do you even know what you look like? If your house doesn't have a mirror, at least you must have a urine basin to check yourself. With that appearance, you dare dream of being a professional player? Daydreaming in broad daylight. I coldly reminded him. If you want to transfer the money, you can end the call now. You still want to scam me? He cursed angrily. You bitch, a scammer, and you dare ask for money? Not only will I not give you anything, I'm going to curse you into silence. If you're so bold, come through the internet and come fight me. This time, I truly lost my temper. He had no idea that I was a ghost. I could actually follow him through the internet. If he made such an unreasonable request, how could I not respond? In the next second, all the viewers in the live stream room saw a shadow flash across the screen before I disappeared. Before the fat bastard could even react, he felt a cold gust of wind brush the back of his neck. He shuddered, the flesh on his body trembling, but before he could turn around, I had grabbed his hair and slapped him hard across the face. The slap echoed loudly, causing his smile to disappear instantly, replaced by a satisfied grin on my face. Weren't you the one who called me over from the online world to hit you? Is this enough for you? He was still in a daze, unable to react, and I swung a few more slaps at him. After finishing, I casually grabbed a tissue to wipe my hands clean. The comments in the live stream chat suddenly went completely silent, and then, the screen was immediately flooded with a storm of comments. Wow. The host really went online to hit someone. What the heck is going on? Is this scripted? Whether it's scripted or not, it's so satisfying. Did you all see that fatty's face? He got what was coming to him. Lesson learned, don't insult people online, or you'll face the consequences. Those keyboard warriors, watch out! I just commented that the host is a scammer. What should I do now? Sob, 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 I'm so panicked. I was wrong. I glanced at the stream of comments scrolling wildly on the screen, then slowly spoke up, the internet is not a lawless place. Don't think that just because you're hiding behind a screen, you can do whatever you want. With just a little bit of skill, everyone can open their eyes to something new. After saying that, I followed the network connection back to the underpass where I was live streaming. From that point on, the broadcast went smoothly. No one said anything unpleasant. Even if there were doubts, the tone became much gentler. The comment section became surprisingly peaceful. After answering 50 questions from yesterday, I started my work for the new day. Does anyone want a fortune reading today? As usual, it's 100 yuan per reading, payment up front, to avoid people skipping out on paying like today. Since the incident where I used the internet to hit someone, more and more people believed I truly had the skills, and my business started to flourish even more. I was carefully jotting down customers' requests in my notebook when, suddenly, two heads appeared on the live stream screen. Two dirty faces loomed right behind me. Their unkempt hair hung down, almost brushing my shoulder, and I turned around immediately. In front of me were two homeless men, their faces covered in dust, and the foul smell hit me straight in the nose. Where did this little girl come from? Don't you know this is our territory? Pack up your things and get out. Oh, so this underpass has an owner? I had once heard old lady Ming-Pa say that in the mortal world, there was an organization called the Beggars Sect, and they were extremely hard to deal with. Could these two be from there? It was probably best not to cause trouble. So, I quietly packed up my things and left, feeling resentful. That was it. No more place to stay. The live stream audience had witnessed the whole scene. Haha, the streamer is fighting for territory with the homeless. I never believed when streamers said they were poor. Now I believe it. She really is sleeping under a bridge. But lately her live stream earnings can't be too little. Why is she still poor? I looked at the comments and sighed, feeling utterly discouraged. My kind of poor isn't the usual kind of poor. I'm poor in a way that's a little unusual. Basically, anywhere I can save money, I absolutely won't spend a penny. I'm planning to end the live stream and go find a place to sleep. But just at that moment, an account kept spamming the same message, drawing my attention. Streamer, look at me, I have a place for you. I clicked to accept the video connection, and the screen displayed two young girls, one with pigtails styled like goat horns, the other with her hair tied up in a high ponytail. Hello, streamer, the girl with the goat horn hairstyle hesitantly began. So here's the thing, we just graduated from college and found a cheap apartment, only 500 yuan per month. It has 2 bedrooms, a living room, but it's in the basement. At first, we thought the basement wouldn't be a problem, but ever since we moved in, a lot of strange things have been happening. I think we might have rented a haunted house. The girl with the goat horn hairstyle was clearly more frightened. She hugged the ponytail girl tightly, trembling, her eyes nervously scanning the surroundings. I calmly concluded, your house really is haunted. Actually, while they were talking, a vengeful spirit was sitting next to them, eavesdropping. But I didn't dare say anything, afraid it would scare the 2 girls to death. You've just graduated and unfortunately rented the place already, and you truly don't have any money left. You had no choice but to grit your teeth and stay, and you don't have the funds to hire a shaman for help. So, this female streamer is really something, maybe she has a way to help us. It just so happens that you don't have a place to stay, so you could stay with us. The 2 of them shared a room, and the other room would be for me. Hearing the 2 girls talk about how poor they were and how they had no other options, I couldn't help but feel deep sympathy. As for poverty, I dare say no one can compare to me. I asked for the address and decided to go directly to assess the situation. The entire basement had a heavy, oppressive atmosphere, with faint traces of the breath of souls that had not yet ascended. I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 small ghosts stood in a neat row in front of me, all of them lifting their heads in unison, their eyes glowing brightly as they stared at me. These childlike souls were only trapped in this place because they had died under tragic circumstances, their resentment so strong that they could not reincarnate. However, when I inquired, all 5 of them shook their heads vigorously, not knowing anything. I fell into deep thought and decided that tonight, when I consult my books, I would look into it further. These little ghosts harbored no ill intent, they were simply trapped. But now, counting myself, there were 6 ghosts in this basement. It was certainly not a place where a person should live long term. If the two girls stayed here any longer, it would only be a matter of time before they were negatively affected. I borrowed their phone to directly call the landlord and suggested, if he allows the two girls to check out early, I will stay for a while to help dissipate the negative energy and ensure this place is no longer a haunted house. At first, the landlord tried to deny everything, but when I mentioned that 5 children had died in this room, he immediately stammered and agreed. The two girls kept thanking me, and before leaving, they even tried to send a few gifts to my live stream room as a token of gratitude. So, the accommodation issue was solved, and I gained 5 new little friends. I was overjoyed beyond measure. There was just one thing that puzzled me. Flipping through the death registry of the underworld, I couldn't find any record of these 5 children. It was as if someone had deliberately erased all traces of them from the books. My live streaming business grew more successful by the day. Every day, the number of people booking fortune-telling sessions exceeded the limit, forcing me to cap the number of appointments. Following the fans' suggestion, I raised the fee for a reading to 1,000 per session and expanded my services to include delivering messages from the deceased to their living relatives. Of course, the condition was that the soul hadn't been reincarnated yet. I even bought an electronic scale to weigh my collection of copper coins. Seeing the number 0.0 slowly increase, I felt both excited and anxious. After all, my goal was to accumulate a full kilogram of copper coins. At night, I would hurry back to the underworld. As soon as King of Hell saw me from afar, his face immediately turned pale. "You insist on throwing all the books at me, telling me to take whatever I need, as long as I stop coming to disturb the underworld every day." A small demon passing by whispered in my ear that ever since I left, King of Hell's hall had finally stopped being blown by the cold wind. I expressed that in addition to fortune-telling, I also offer a messaging service, so I still have to occasionally visit the spirits. As a result, King of Hell directly grabbed 2 souls and brought them to me, saying that the underworld had caught up with the times, and even the black and white envoys had been equipped with mobile phones. If there's anything, I just need to call them, no need to come myself anymore. How convenient. I was extremely satisfied, immediately saving the contact numbers of Brother Black and Big Sister Bai, then hugged the stack of books and returned to the human world. The 5 little ghosts couldn't even remember their own names, so I decided to give them simple names: Little 1, Little 2, Little 3, Little 4, and Little 5. Now, they officially became my employees. Together with the 5 little demons, I started flipping through the pages of the ledger, searching for clues to help our clients solve their questions. As a result, my work efficiency significantly increased, and I could earn more than a dozen fortune-telling sessions each day. Of course, I couldn't let them work for free. I promised that I would help them recover their lost memories and then help them reincarnate. While earning money from live streaming, I also kept an eye on some major criminal cases. When I come across a suspicious case, I immediately check the death registry of the underworld and provide clues to the police. One reason is to earn a reward, and the other is to accumulate merit. It's a win-win situation, as the effort expended is minimal while the results are doubled. Over time, I became a regular at the Jiangqing police station, even getting along with the officers like family. That day, I received an urgent call from the chief, asking me to come to the conference room immediately. As I opened the door and entered, the entire room was filled with officers in uniform, all sitting upright and serious. The crowd simultaneously turned their heads to look at me, which made me feel a little embarrassed. Had I known, I wouldn't have come here in shorts and flip-flops. When the chief saw me, he immediately pulled me into the center of the room and introduced me to everyone. "This is the expert I mentioned. She has assisted with many cases in Jiangqing." The atmosphere was a little awkward. An officer sitting on the right spoke up. "Lao Wu, I know you're eager to solve the case. We all want to catch the criminal as soon as possible. But that doesn't mean we should resort to praying to gods or superstitions whenever we encounter difficulties. That's right. We are all materialists here. Solving cases should be based on evidence and reasoning. We can't just rely on superstition just because we can't find a clue. At this point, I realized that the officers on the left were from Jiangqing, while the group on the right were unfamiliar faces. They must be a police team from another city, probably because this case involves two different jurisdictions. I smiled and spoke, "Hello, leaders. I am Xiao Kuei, able to see through the yin and yang, with some knowledge of occult arts. I live by helping people and guarantee I won't speak recklessly or disrupt your investigation process." After I finished speaking, the expression of the police team on the right seemed to soften slightly. The officers from Jiangqing began speaking on my behalf. Xiao Kuei is very capable. The case 418 last time was solved because she pinpointed the location of the culprit. She really has skills, and she has never accepted any money when providing information to the police. She simply helps. I gratefully smiled at them. Finally, a police officer seated at the head on the right, Captain Du, spoke. "In that case, you can sit and listen, but please do not disrupt the investigation process." Upon hearing this, I quickly grabbed a small chair and obediently sat at the back of the meeting room, focusing on the case files. This was a very serious case of kidnapping and serial murder, occurring in two cities separated by thousands of miles. The most confusing aspect of the case is how the perpetrator could travel between two distant cities in such a short period of time to commit the crimes consecutively. This is completely impossible according to normal reasoning. I quickly memorized the information about the victims, then went home, called the 5 little demons over, and told them that today's live stream would be temporarily suspended because we had an important task to do. We consulted the death registry, searching for traces of each child who had been harmed. But strangely, the records of the children before the day of the incident were very clear. However, on the very day the crime occurred, all traces had been completely erased. For the first time in my life, I felt confused. Who could possess the ability to hide cause and effect, to deceive even the underworld? At that moment, Little Two, one of the 5 little demons, scratched his head and said, "Sister Kun, why do the circumstances of these children seem so similar to ours?" I was stunned, then suddenly woke up. This meant that, in addition to the recorded cases, there might be another case, one that had not been discovered yet, the case that happened in the basement where I was staying. The 5 little demons were the first victims. I immediately reported this discovery to Director Wu. After an investigation, the police found that 3 years ago, a serious case of domestic violence had occurred in this very basement. The 5 children could no longer bear the abuse from their adoptive father and ultimately opened the gas valve, committing mass suicide one fateful night. In reality, that man had never legally adopted the children. He stood outside hospitals, kidnapping abandoned children and raising them in his own twisted way. But he didn't do this out of kindness, it was merely to satisfy his perverse desires. Upon hearing this, I felt a surge of anger rise within me. The 5 little devils, who spent their days playing and laughing beside me, had such a tragic past. I hated that I couldn't personally throw that beast into the depths of hell. After identifying him, the police immediately issued an arrest warrant, but there was still one unresolved mystery. Who had erased the records of those victims from the death register? I decided to report this to the King of Hell. This time, I've decided to personally participate in the hunt for this evil fiend. I want to see what kind of demon he truly is. His position was at a farm on the outskirts of the city. To avoid more victims, we immediately set off at top speed. As soon as I stepped into the house, I immediately sensed something was wrong. A cold, unnatural presence enveloped the room. But I had no time to think much, quickly making my way up the stairs and descending into the basement. In front of us was a row of small cells, the air thick with the smell of blood. The team leader gestured for us to stop, and the whole team immediately held their breath, silently observing. From the room at the end of the hallway came a strange, maniacal laugh from a man. The sound was hoarse, like a demon crawling up from hell. "Wait for the signal from the team leader," and we all rushed forward at once. Bang! A gunshot rang out, the bullet piercing the right arm of the vicious enemy, causing the axe in his hand to fall to the ground right in front of a child. In the corner of the room, a little girl held tightly to the other children, trembling all over but still courageously shielding them from harm. Clearly, she was terrified to the core, but even as the axe was about to come down, the girl did not step back. "It's okay, I'll protect you." The female police officers hurriedly grabbed clothes and gently wrapped the wounded children up, soothing and comforting them. The girl, who had called herself the older sister, was only 12 years old. She finally broke down in sobs, releasing the fear that had been building up inside her. Everyone present couldn't help but be moved by this scene. At this moment, the criminal had been surrounded by armed police, and he no longer had any weapons on him, his right hand injured, leaving him with no chance of resistance. Yet his expression kept changing. First, there was fear, followed by resentment, and in the end, he revealed a strange smile, as if he had gained something. He reached up to wipe the blood from the wound on his arm, smearing it haphazardly across his forehead, muttering strange incantations under his breath. At that moment, the strange aura I had felt when I first entered the house flared up intensely, causing my heart to race with an unbidden sense of panic. In the blink of an eye, his figure suddenly vanished right before our eyes. At the same time, the ground beneath us shook violently, dust and debris falling in all directions, as though the whole room was about to collapse. The police immediately escorted the children outside. I had no other choice but to reveal my demonic form, passing through the ceiling to leap to the surface. As soon as I regained my footing, I saw the villain clutching something tightly in his arms. He dashed outside. Upon closer inspection, the object in his hands was a statue of Guanyin, but it was no ordinary statue. A true Guanyin statue should have a gentle face, eyes filled with compassion, calming the heart of anyone who gazed upon it. But the statue in his hands had sharp, disdainful eyes, and the corners of its mouth curled up as if mocking. Coupled with the sinister energy surrounding it, I immediately understood this man had allowed an unknown demon to possess the Guanyin statue. This was sacrilege. I shouted, "What are you? How dare you attach yourself to a statue of Guanyin to commit evil?" The statue began to emit strange, incomprehensible sounds. I quickly opened a voice translation app on my phone. Turns out it is a demon from Thailand. Looking back, the unfamiliar aura made it clear that it is not a demon from this land. This also explains why it could erase the records in the Book of Life and Death. Since this matter was not caused by a demon from this realm, there are no records in the Book of Karma. In principle, the underworld and the human world are the same. Each realm has its own gods and demons, who govern it and must not be trespassed upon or interfered with. The difference, however, is that humans are free to travel between countries, while gods and demons are bound to remain within their own territories, unable to step into another's domain. Of course, there are those with unscrupulous intentions who try to immigrate illegally through special methods, just as humans might raise minor demons. In essence, this is no different from smuggling or illegal border crossing. Once discovered, the violator will be cast down to the 18th level of hell. But this demon, its actions are even more serious than smuggling. It dared to crawl into another god's statue, which is truly detestable. It really has no respect for our deities, but unfortunately, I am just a small, insignificant demon, barely hanging on, so how could I stand against the evil spirit possessing the Guanyin statue? I could only helplessly watch as the culprit escaped without being able to do anything. However, while I could not deal with it, the underworld absolutely cannot turn a blind eye. Upon returning home, I immediately reported the incident to the King of Hell. As expected, the underworld worked swiftly and efficiently. 3 days later, Brother Black and Big Sister Bai had captured the culprit and thrown them straight into the police station. I inquired about how the evil spirit in the Guanyin statue was to be dealt with. The King of Hell nonchalantly replied, "That is just an evil god from Thailand, but times have changed, and we cannot deal with it carelessly. There must be serious diplomatic measures, not only to punish him but also to knock on the door of the other side, demanding that they tightly control their own demons and gods. We can't let them run into our territory and cause trouble." I clicked my tongue in admiration. The underworld nowadays is keeping up with the times, increasingly organized in their work. This horrific case, after being solved, caused an uproar in public opinion and stayed at the top of search trends for several days. By the time of the trial, I even specially asked Big Sister Bai to use her magical artifact to take the 5 children to sit in the audience. The culprit bowed his head and confessed. His evil body was captured, and the children's memories gradually returned. However, in recent days, their youthful faces have been tinged with sorrow, which made my heart ache with a deep sadness. Fortunately, the criminal's crimes were so numerous that there was no doubt he would be sentenced to death. The moment the judge struck the gavel to announce the verdict, the clouds on the children's faces finally began to lift a little, but death was not the final punishment for him. A sinner so deeply stained would have to endure torment in the 18 levels of hell when he descended to the underworld. At that time, I would take the children to witness his sentence in the realm of the dead. Upon hearing this, the 5 children's bright eyes lit up with anticipation, looking at me with hope, making my heart soften endlessly. Now that the memories have returned, and the resentment has dissipated, I can guide them to reincarnation. Don't worry, in this life, you have suffered unjustly, but in the next, you will be duly compensated. You will undoubtedly have a peaceful, prosperous, and wealthy life. Yet, the 5 of them insisted on clinging to the hem of my skirt, refusing to leave. They wanted to stay a little longer to help me, waiting until I also reincarnated, so we could continue our journey together in the next life. Well, I let them stay, thinking of it as an opportunity to accumulate a bit more merit, which isn't a bad thing. After being busy for several days, I was enjoying a relaxing moment lying down at home when I received a call from Director Wu. "You've become famous now." "I know. I'm a little bird with millions of followers, after all." I chuckled. "It's not that kind of fame. You've completely become famous within the police force. The higher-ups have sent someone to meet with you." Finally, I was specially recruited to serve as an advisor for the police system. A home-based job with insurance and a government position. After 2 days of rest, I went back to live streaming. The crowd of fans flooding into my live stream room was so large it nearly crashed the platform. "Sister Xiao Kuei, I've finally waited for you." "Boo-hoo. Grandma, the streamer you follow is online now. Does this heartless head even remember us? I've waited so long my hair's almost turned white. You have to take responsibility for this." "Aw, I'm used to it. Xiao Kuei is probably out solving a case again, right? I'll go check the official police account to see if there's any update." I smiled and spoke to everyone. "Hello, long time no see. From now on, I won't be doing any fortune-telling anymore, just chatting and answering questions for everyone. But if anyone faces difficulties, I'll still try to help within my abilities, for free. Because now I have a government position, serving the people is my responsibility." The comments erupted. "Wait a minute. How come after just a few days, you went from being a fortune-teller streamer to a government official? Huh? What's going on? I'm still not even fully awake. Guys, I just saw that the police are making an official announcement. I took a screenshot, check it out, my whole family is in shock." Hoo, my daughter, Xiaokui, has finally achieved something great. It turns out the pinnacle of the universe is still a government job. No more words, I'm off to school now, but I'm getting busier and busier. In addition to supporting major case investigations, I also participate in rescuing trafficking victims, helping to crack down on telecom fraud rings, and even assist in recovering lost cultural relics around the world. Then one day, I received a request through Director Wu from my superiors. They wanted me to help find an anti-drug police officer who had sacrificed his life during a mission. He had once been deeply undercover in a drug trafficking organization. Only one more day, and he could return with crucial evidence. However, he was exposed and sacrificed just before the decisive moment. I found the soul of that soldier by the Naiha Bridge. Still lingering, he refused to cross the bridge to reincarnate. He told me about the classified documents he had gathered, as well as the location where he had hidden the important evidence at the last minute. Thanks to that information, the anti-drug operation was a resounding success. I returned to Naiha Bridge to report the news to him. After listening, he nodded, turned, and began to walk away. Before disappearing, he solemnly raised his hand to salute me in a military style. From that day on, I felt increasingly strange. One day, I looked into the mirror and was startled to see myself in a white dress, with kind eyes, and a soft golden glow surrounding me. Looking like this, who would dare to call me a demon? I was startled. Could this be the effect of a peaceful and beautiful society? But the most important thing was my balance of money. After so many days of carefully weighing every tiny bit, it was finally just 0.0 short of reaching a full pound. Excited, I immediately ran down to the underworld to find the King of Hell, happily asking, "King of Hell, does this mean I can be reincarnated now?" But after he heard it, he immediately stepped back 3 meters, avoiding me as if I were a plague. "You can't reincarnate anymore." I was stunned. All these years of effort, was it all in vain? I burst into tears. "Look at yourself," King of Hell pointed at me, his voice trembling. "Your whole body is glowing like that, what do you need reincarnation for? You're about to become a god." I stood there dumbfounded. Become a god? Ascend? Aside from the fact that I had only wanted to reincarnate, who would have thought that accumulating so many merits would send me straight up to become a minor deity? I was also the poorest demon in the past 1,000 years, and at the same time, the first demon to directly ascend from the underworld to become a celestial being. The day I went to register at the heavenly court, my family and friends from the underworld saw me off, crying and giving me all sorts of advice. They even packed a bunch of fruits and dried goods for me to take along. Everyone said I was the pride of the underworld and told me to do a good job up there so they could benefit from my success. But just half an hour later, I appeared right in front of the underworld's gates. It turned out that I was so familiar with the work down here that the heavenly court had appointed me as the foreign affairs officer of the underworld. So, I returned. King of Hell looked at me with an indescribable expression. The poor demon he had despised for 300 years had now become his direct superior. It really takes time for one to get used to things. I paused for a moment, then walked up and patted his shoulder. "From now on, we're comrades. Let's work together for the cause of the underworld." The end. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to hear more great stories.